Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are. Welcome back again to Automation Days Asia 2024, Track 2. Again, my name is John. I am your host for Track 2. Today, we are very privileged to have Ravindra, who is joining us today, who will be taking us through for an interesting topic talking about transforming business process automation with AI. So, as you know, AI is currently the hottest topic that's trending at the moment. So, I would love to hear from Ravinder to actually talk a little bit more how this AI is actually going to help us to change the way that we do our business process itself. Hi, Ravinder. Good to have you to
Hi.
join us.
Hi, good morning, John.
Morning. So I'm going to hand over the session to you because this is actually one of my key interests in the topic of how AI can actually help to change the business process. So
Sure.
hopefully you can enlighten us and the audience as well on how this can be done in a more structured manner as well. Ravinder,
Sure.
over
Sure.
to you.
Thanks, John. And I know people are joining from across the world. So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. And I would first like to thank all of you to take time off your busy weekday schedules to join this session. I am trying to give you the best for the time invested. So, before we begin, why should you listen to me? I've got about 28 years of experience in the industry. I worked with companies like Gartner. I was a research principal analyst. I've been recognized by the World Marketing Congress among 100 most influential marketing leaders. I worked across with people across 80 countries, traveled across 20 countries, worked there, worked with global multinational corporations, large Indian multinational corporations. I've also been mentoring micro, small, and medium enterprises and startups lately. So, if you want to connect with me later on, you will be getting this deck, I believe, later on. So, you can connect with me on LinkedIn as well. So, moving on to the main title. Before we talk about AI in automation, it is very important for us to be on the same page with respect to what we consider as automation. So, here is my definition of automation: replacing human work, human effort by technology. That's what I think, or I define as artificial intelligence. So, to sort of automate things, we need to create systems and processes that can operate automatically without any human intervention or with minimal human intervention. That's a base that we have created now about what is automation. Now, automation is not new. We have seen automation across the last century, and human life has changed because of that. Let us see how. So, it all started with revolutionizing global transportation. Global transportation increased reach across the world, it increased collaboration across the world, and it connected economies across the world. So, we began with human powered transportation, then animal powered transportation, and self propelled transportation. So, you can say that we automated transportation to a certain extent, and now we have driverless cars as well. So, we have moved further down that. Uh, After the transportation revolution came agriculture revolution. So less farmers are producing more than ever now. If you looked at the population that was into farming before versus now, there's a big difference. Less farmers are producing more than ever. So here we moved from muscle power to machine power for cultivation, storage, and distribution. After agricultural revolution came industrial revolution, where again automation played a big role. Now less workers are giving us more production. In some factories there are workerless factories, so robots do the entire thing. So here again we moved from muscle power to machine power in sourcing, processing, packaging, and distribution also. And that has created a big difference in the way we live. And lastly, automation is now, because of the information age and the communication age, uh, coupled with transportation automation, we are now seeing the world where even pestle is getting globalization. So, what I mean by pestle is political forces, economic forces, social forces, technological forces, environmental forces, and legal forces. All of these and processes are getting automated, getting connected globally through global communication networks. So this is leading to global collaboration. This is leading to expanded opportunities for individuals as well as for organizations. So this has led to the rise of international trade, international finance, and geopolitical transformation. Uh, we have seen how the outcome of US elections is affecting economies in an entirely different hemisphere. So that's the impact of automation on our life. We never thought about it as automation, but this is another way of looking at automation. So now, what has automation done to us over the last century? We have been able to boost efficiency of whatever we do. We have been able to improve accuracy of whatever we do. We have been able to improve the productivity of humans working, or factories, humanless factories, like we said. So automation, machines work with us and machine work for us, both ways. And machines in some cases are also replacing us. Cost savings, definitely automation is leading to huge cost savings by reducing labor expenses, and waste is minimized. And finally, security. There are places where there were a lot of accidents, a lot of human life threats were there, and because of automation we have seen the risks being taken away. So we are still on automation. Now the topic is about how AI is changing automation itself. So before we begin that, let us look at the three levels of automation and how the progression has happened. Initially, as we saw, automation was at a very physical level. So replacing machine power with replacing muscle power with machine power. Then we went to intellectual level, where some of human intellectual cognitive tasks started getting taken over by automation. And now we are in a world where artificial intelligence is even helping us make decisions or making decisions for us. We'll see some examples of that. So in physical automation, like we saw, we saw robotics in manufacturing, automated machines, automated conveyor belts, self-driving vehicles. So this is reducing or replacing physical effort. Intellectual automation is automating cognitive tasks, like I said, data processing, analysis. So data entry automation has happened, automated customer service chatbots are happening, predictive analytics is happening. So this is actually taking care of some of our intellectual faculties and bringing about a change in the way we do things. And then finally, we are talking about decision automation. So here, automation or artificial intelligence in automation is sometimes taking decisions on our behalf and sometimes helping us make better decisions. So, for example, if you look at the high frequency trading systems used in equity markets, they are trading at such fast levels that humans cannot even comprehend. In microseconds and milliseconds, trades are done in futures, options, equity. It is unthinkable. So, they look at all the rules for trading. The machine also looks at the risk management. It also learns. So any mistakes before are not repeated, and it learns by itself. So that is the level to which AI is taking automation. Now, because of this and what's going to come forward, AI is actually truly transforming the landscape of automation. And we are seeing that how AI is making processes more efficient, more accurate, and more intelligent. Let us see how. So there are 7 different ways in which artificial intelligence is improving automation. So efficiency was already there. AI is enhancing that efficiency. AI is improving accuracy. We are also able to get into predictive analytics because of artificial intelligence, which helps with decision making. We are also seeing mass personalization. All of us have seen how when we log on to an e-commerce portal, uh, everything that we see is personalized to us based on our previous purchases, previous behavior. We see that on YouTube as well. We see that on various e-commerce portals as well. Intelligent decision making is now possible because of AI, and we saw how some decisions are made for us instead of waiting for us. Automation, AI is also helping us with dynamic scalability and then helping us with continuous improvement. Let us go through that in a little more detail. So with efficiency, automation was helping efficiency, but with AI, a lot of repetitive and time-consuming tasks are being able to do very fast, more accurate, and human efforts are spared for more strategic activity. So earlier we had to work on Excel sheets and gather data and then present that data. Now it can be done automatically through automation, through AI driven automation. For accuracy, human error goes down because of technology coming in, artificial intelligence coming in. One example is in healthcare, automation is AI driven automation is actually used. So when a patient report comes in, the database of thousands of patients before this is analyzed, and it helps the physician or the doctor to actually predict or diagnose the disease better and also predict patient outcomes better, and it's actually happening in front of us. Predictive analytics. So we have seen how artificial intelligence can actually analyze huge amounts of data and predict outcomes in advance. So even before you log into your e-commerce portal, uh, the artificial intelligence knows what are the things that you are likely to buy or likely to be looking for. If I bought a certain type of tea, and if it checks a pattern that this guy buys this tea usually once in so many days, the moment I log in, I'll start seeing that advertisement or that product being displayed. So it goes to a level of prediction as well as it goes to a level of mass personalization. So we have seen how ads are tailored to our behavior, the way we search, the way we buy things, and AI is actually driving to the next level. Intelligent decision making, we talked about high frequency trading, for example, intelligent decision making in driverless cars. uh, these are the examples. So we are seeing visual AV kind of AI, we are seeing voice kind of AI, and we are seeing text kind of AI being used in all three kind of modes, so which we can see in driverless cars. So visual cues are taken from all over, and accordingly the car drives itself. AI is also bringing about dynamic scalability because tons of data is taken from all over, analyzed, and then is also used for output to be generated. For example, if you are looking at chatbots driven by AI, hundreds of inquiries can be managed simultaneously using AI driven automation in chatbots, where the software, the artificial intelligence actually picks up data from all over the place, interacts intelligently with the customer who is interacting with the chatbot. And of course we know about machine learning. So artificial intelligence and machine learning systems are actually learning from their own mistakes and making things better. So how do you leverage AI into your organization? There are 10 steps. I have listed down the 10 steps, and we will go through those one by one. The very first thing to do is identify why do you want to deploy AI. What are the goals that you are looking for? What objectives are you working on? The next thing to work on is assess the current processes across the organization. We'll see an example at the end of this presentation on how we do that. So we have to assess the current presentation, the current processes, look at which are suitable for AI deployment, which are not suitable. The core of everything is data. Is data available to be able to deploy AI? Can data be made available to deploy AI? So analysis of those processes to see uh, which are the processes that are ready and which are the processes that will make the maximum business impact. Like I said, data is the fuel for artificial intelligence. So we need to make sure that data is available. In many organizations, I see that data is sitting in silos, not connected at all, and even that is not organized well across the geographies, across branches, for example. So is we have to get the data ready to make it usable by artificial intelligence, and again we can use artificial intelligence even to do that. Now that everything in the back end is analyzed, we need to build a skilled team. Doesn't mean we need to hire dozens of people. We can assemble a team in house as well as we can outsource things to experts to deploy the artificial intelligence. So depending on your objective and depending on your budgets, you can work on that. After that, we need to look at choosing the right platforms and tools for artificial intelligence. I have seen cases where wrong platforms and tools were selected and the entire investments went for a toss. So we need to check for interoperability. We need to check for the learning curve required to learn for people to learn those tools and platforms. We need to look at whether the tools and platforms are scalable to the extent that we need them. We need to look at whether the technology is mature enough, or is it going to be obsolete very soon. We need to look at credibility of those tools and platforms. We need to look at whether they have the right recognitions, right certifications, and finally everything that we do comes with a cost effectiveness angle to it. Now that we are ready to go with artificial intelligence, we have selected the tools and platforms, we have the team ready, we have all the backend data ready, we have selected the process for that data, and so on. Now we need to look at a small project. We cannot just jump into it. We have to start with a small pilot project, test the feasibility, test the impact, and then monitor the results, gather feedback, and then move on small improvements. Once the pilot project is successful, use those learnings to scale gradually. You may have selected 10 different processes. Don't do all of those together. Start with one, make it ready, learn from those templates, and implement those templates to other processes. Also, artificial intelligence software, again, it's a machine. It doesn't have a sense of ethics. It doesn't have a sense of or understanding of compliances. We need to make sure that when we are deploying AI, we don't cross the lines of ethics and compliances. We have to make sure that we are complying with relevant regulations, as well as we are not crossing ethical boundaries. Once we have started implementing AI, we cannot take our hands off. We cannot say that now we have started AI driven automation, so I will take my hands off, at least initially. We need to monitor and optimize. We need to keep monitoring if there are any mistakes happening, any changes that are required. Also, train the learning algorithm if required to learn better. And then also gather feedback from stakeholders who are impacted by that implementation, and start making improvements to bring it to a level of maturity where we can then let it work alone with minimal supervision by humans. After everything, or while everything is happening, like we have seen in the case of when computers were implemented first in some companies, or when machines were brought in to replace humans, there was always the fear, will this take away my job? And there was a lot of resistance initially to all new technology that came in. Even when cars came in, horse cart vendors went on strike. So AI is also going to face this kind of resistance unless we prepare the organization for that change. So change management is a very, very important stage in implementing AI. It doesn't come at the last stage at 10. I've said it at the 10th level because all the backend has to be done as well. But it should start from the day that we decide to deploy artificial intelligence. And we need to provide training, provide awareness, also help employees to adapt to the changes that are going to happen to them because of artificial intelligence. This is a very, very important step that has to be done all across the deployment, all the way from planning to execution. Now we move to the practical aspects of how do we leverage AI across the organization. We have seen the 10 steps. Now we need to look at how do we apply those across the organization. So in any organization, everything begins with the strategic leadership. After that comes the core processes of the organization, from sourcing to internal logistics, warehousing, manufacturing, or services delivery if it's a service organization, product and service distribution, and sales and marketing. And to support all this, we have support functions. There can be many support functions. I have only taken two. I have taken human resources and administration management, and I am looking at finance. There are other functions like IT, for example. There could be many other functions in your organization that I may not have listed here, but the next few slides will give you a gist of what to do and what are the benefits that each of these can get out of artificial intelligence driven automation. Let us look at the strategic decision making part. So the very first thing that artificial intelligence allows or enables in automating decision making is data driven decision making. So we can make sense of all the data. Like someone said, data is the new oil. So leaders can use artificial intelligence to forecast future trends more accurately, analyze the markets more accurately, identify potential risks in the market before they actually become actual risks, and enable proactive decision making. So here we are talking about decision AI. Strategic planning, artificial intelligence can actually be used to analyze multiple market reports, multiple market inputs, our own sales performance, POC, POS, point of sale performance, as well as all that data can be used to simulate different business scenarios. So what will happen, for example, if a rupee dollar exchange rate moves from the current to maybe half of what it is, so from 100 to 50, the entire business scenario will change. In that case, how does my business respond to that? What will change around me? So those scenarios can be built, strategies can be pre-decided, and so the organization is ready for any eventuality. Artificial intelligence can also be used for innovation and product development, which is a major competitive requirement, strategic requirement to beat competition. So research and development can also be speeded up and made accurate by using artificial intelligence. We are seeing that a lot in pharma research, pharmaceutical research. We are seeing that a lot in chemicals. We are seeing that a lot in automotive research, in aviation research. So and we are actually seeing that in defense in a big way also. So the power of AI can be used to analyze data, look at where are the gaps in the existing products or available products, and then come out with product ideas, test those very rapidly in various scenarios, simulated scenarios, and come out with new products, new developments very fast. One major one major pain or one major agenda for strategic decision makers is to de-risk the corporation. So fraud detection, compliance management can also be impacted in a big way by AI, by detecting patterns and anomalies in advance, identifying what can go wrong before it goes wrong, and taking remedial measures well in advance. Now that we have done with the strategic management level, we go down to the value chain that we saw across. So we'll begin with sourcing. In sourcing, everything begins with identifying the right supplier, uh, negotiating properly with them to get the best prices, and also monitoring their performance over a period of time. So AI can actually help in a big way to do that. Demand forecasting, typically what happens is in large organizations even now is data is sitting in silos. There is no way to connect data all across. For example, sales and marketing teams do sales forecast. Now to sell those materials, sell those products, you need raw materials to be coming in a proportionate format or proportionate quantities. But the sourcing team may not even be aware of how much is sales going to forecast, and accordingly how much should I start uh, sourcing. So we can connect data from sales and marketing and apply it to norms of consumption. We can actually track data on how much is required for what, actually learn over a period of time by reducing wastages, and maintain optimal inventory levels, reduce the risk of stockouts, reduce the risk of overstocking also, which is an opportunity loss for your cash. Talking about cash, we come to cost reduction. AI can actually analyze the spending patterns across the organization, and especially with when negotiating with salespeople, consolidate purchases to get bulk discounts. Also look at alternative sources of supplies, not just in the vicinity but across the world. Study the prices across the world, get a sense of how are we being charged. If required, get into a dynamic pricing mode. And I have seen AI being deployed by a company in Dubai that I worked with recently. They are actually automating the entire process of sourcing by creating a portal that will negotiate on your behalf through a reverse auction process. So you always get the best possible price from the best possible vendor. The vendor may be situated at any corner of the world. Risk management, when we are talking to suppliers, when we are talking about suppliers, there is always the risk of non-compliance. There is always the risk of people not fulfilling uh, their promises as per the contract. So, supplier risk management can also be taken care of. AI geopolitical risks are important. Like we saw, because of a friction between two countries, supplies get affected. Oil supplies got affected. So, if you are able to predict these risks in advance and stock up in advance, a huge difference can be made. Contract management is a big area within sourcing. Artificial intelligence can analyze contracts, identify potential risks, ensure compliance, also manage the entire life cycle to ensure that renewals are done in time. Uh, processes Processing of invoices, processing of payments is done on time. A lot of repetitive tasks can be handled by artificial intelligence, where the procurement professionals can actually do the work they are meant to do, as against working on repetitive tasks. The quality of supplies, the regularity of supplies depends a lot on how well you are able to collaborate with your suppliers. And artificial intelligence can actually facilitate better communication, better collaboration, also manage the performance or monitor the performance of those suppliers better. And if required, change the suppliers if required with alternative suppliers. In all this, data is the key, and artificial intelligence can make use of data sitting in multiple silos across your organization and give you better insights for your decisions through AI driven dashboards. Now comes the part of logistics, warehousing, and distribution. So, in logistics, one most important thing is avoiding stockouts and avoiding overstocking. So, artificial intelligence can be used to analyze historical data, market trends, and basically help in better inventory planning. Large warehouses are set up across multiple locations. Now they can be optimized by looking at the way they are being currently used, the way the layout is there in various warehouses. And even if we are able to use internet of things or IoT along with AI, we can actually have AI driven robots that assist in picking and packing items, which will actually help in speeding up things and improving efficiency of warehouses. The efficiency of warehouse depends on how well the equipment is working. So instead of waiting for something to break down, if you are able to analyze previous data on what products break down at what time because of what supplies or what spares, preventive maintenance can be done to reduce downtime. We are talking about logistics, so we need to be aware of what is reaching where by when. So all of that can be automated. We are seeing in our personal lives how when we start out from one location to another, the small app on our mobile phones tells us exactly when we are likely to reach by analyzing traffic patterns, by analyzing your vehicle speed, your driving habits. It will actually tell you are going to reach this location at around this time in these many minutes. That same thing can be used for route planning and supply chain planning using artificial intelligence. We talked about route optimization. I also explained how that can be done. So just in time deliveries are possible. Like when we buy from certain e-commerce portals, they're able to actually tell us in advance by what date, by what time you are going to receive what you have placed an order for. So that's a big game changer in distribution using artificial intelligence. Talking about this, imagine the kind of customer experience change that happens. When you buy something, you know exactly when it is going to be available to you at what time. And also, this can be powered using chatbots that are run by AI. We saw the power of AI in chatbots in one of my earlier slides. So, it can make a big difference in enhancing customer experience. Warehouses, logistics, distribution mean equipment, heavy transportation vehicles. So here, artificial intelligence can help with monitoring safety conditions within the warehouse, within the transportation route. Also track if anything goes wrong, suggest remedial actions in advance. And then AI can also track the compliance or adherence to the regulatory requirements, which will reduce the risk of penalties because of non-compliance. And all of this can actually help you reduce the cost of warehousing, cost of logistics, cost of distribution, and in a way also help you with reducing your environmental footprint. We moved from so now the goods have come in, it comes into the manufacturing operations. In the manufacturing operations, like we saw in warehousing, predictive maintenance using artificial intelligence can make a big difference by reducing downtime, extending machinery life, and reducing the maintenance cost because of proactive predictive maintenance. Quality control can be improved in a big way. In one of my clients, actually they implemented uh, an AI system where it was connected with the CCTV cameras in a manufacturing location in a pharma company. So when someone was seeing moving without a cap, uh, the system immediately alerted. A phone call went to that person warning him to wear a cap. Imagine a pharma line where a single strand of hair falls into some tablet. It can create a huge legal problem, legal lawsuit for the pharmaceutical company. Just installing a simple CCTV camera powered by AI and automating the process actually helped them prevent a lot of lawsuits. Process optimization can be done using artificial intelligence, because manufacturing companies sit with a lot of data, production data, and this can be actually used to increase the throughput, reduce energy consumption, and improve the resource utilization using artificial intelligence driven algorithms. We talked about supply chain management before. That was in the context of getting goods in. There is also a supply chain within manufacturing locations, goods being taken from one place to another within the manufacturing location, maintaining inventories of raw materials, semi-finished products, finished products, the internal logistics that takes care at a manufacturing location. So all of that can be optimized using artificial intelligence driven automation. And finally, we already seen how AI powered robots can actually reduce the risk to humans, do the task more, because machines don't get tired like humans and lose focus. So AI powered robots can actually take over complex tasks and make sure that the production speed goes up, safety of workers is ensured, and human errors are reduced. Energy management, so AI can actually keep track of how are we using energy, where are we wasting energy, and make a big difference. Like in one of the cases, one of my client cases, we saw that when it is time to leave, many people leave their desktop computers on, and then the desktop computer screens, the monitors are on throughout the night, and a lot of energy is wasted there. So we deployed artificial intelligence in the entire system, and when someone was not using a computer for a certain period of time, it automatically switched off, and it switched on around the time the person, when the person scanned the entry, the monitor switched on. So the person did not lose time in setting up things, starting the machine, as well as energy was saved. That was just a small example, but in a large manufacturing operation, it can create a big impact. We discussed earlier in the strategic decision making part how product design and development can be assisted using AI. In the manufacturing operations, also, it can be used by making things much better than uh, human powered product design and development. Like we have mass personalization in sales and marketing, mass customization can also be done using artificial intelligence, by trimming batch sizes, by actually predicting demand, predicting, adjusting the production lines, and produce different variants according to what has been forecasted by the sales and marketing team. So the sales and marketing team may have forecasted certain volumes of certain things of certain colors in advance, which can be fed into the production system, and accordingly mass customization can also be done. Like I said before, AI sometimes replaces humans, and AI driven automation can sometimes make humans perform better. So, AI robot human machine collaboration can also be driven by artificial intelligence and can bring about huge productivity and efficiency changes. We talked about how safety and compliance can, we talked about that in the earlier slide in logistics, warehousing, and distribution. The same applies to factories also. Now, some companies also have a service component to it. So, AI can play a big role in service request management. So, one of my clients actually they sell service automation software using artificial intelligence. So, there the entire, for example, for one of their clients, there was a Japanese company that had 8 different locations in India. The entire field service management was centralized. The faults or requirements could actually be predicted in advance. The routes could be planned using artificial intelligence for the field agents moving around, and this helped them reduce the cost by almost 60%. The cost of field service that they were incurring by deploying artificial intelligence. Natural language processing can also help in automating chatbots. Like in case of manufacturing, we can also do that for service delivery, predictive maintenance, and issue resolution. For example, for large medical devices sitting in hospitals, downtime is very very precious, very expensive. So if the company that is selling those or servicing those machines can take care of any problems before they happen, that can actually help in customer experience management as well as in reducing the cost of services. For service delivery, like I said before, dynamic scheduling and workforce management help that company reduce the cost of field services by almost 60%. Customer experience enhancement we talked about by using mass personalization using AI chatbots, by using sentiment analysis to identify challenges or complaints even before they happen and take remedial action with timely intervention. That can bring about a big change in customer experience enhancement. Performance monitoring can be done using artificial intelligence, so data doesn't lie. So people may or may not report some things, but AI will pick up those data and keep learning, keep monitoring, and also keep reporting uh, objectively instead of subjectively. All of that data that is picked up all through the 24 hours of activity can be analyzed. Knowledge is generated out of it, so that past mistakes will not be repeated. All the record of past errors, past problems can be kept and available to the person on the field proactively. We discussed how machine learning can enable continuous improvement, continuous learning through feedback loops earlier. And risk management, potential risk in service delivery, stockouts of spares, for example, or with AI, we can actually do proactive measures to mitigate them by making the spares available well in time. Any other risks that are there in service delivery management, like compliances to SLAs, can also be taken care of well in advance rather than waiting for those to happen and for lawsuits to happen. Now comes the part of customer facing activity, that is AI in marketing automation, where we see predictive analytics can play a big role in marketing. Customer segmentation was done manually through research. Now it can be done automatically by looking at past point of sale data, by past customer behavior, online purchases, all of that. And customer segmentation can be done automatically, leading to from moving to segmentation, it can be going into persona based sales and marketing, mass personalization that we talked about before. We discussed how chatbots and virtual assistants powered by AI can be a big game changer in sales and marketing. One of my clients actually helps pharma companies, senior decision makers in pharma companies, to assimilate information from hundreds of and thousands of sources across the world about hundreds and thousands of companies. So what data to pick up is decided by artificial intelligence based on what is demanded by customers, by subscribers. The data collection, the research is done automatically, analysis is done automatically. The content is developed and personalized for subscribers based on their preferences and delivered within a very short period of time. All this happens within a matter of a few hours or even a few minutes, and on a 24 by 7 basis, as compared to having to do it manually, which took months together to generate one customer report. Email marketing automation, we have already seen happening before. Now AI is actually making a big difference in mass personalization of emails as well. The content that goes out to every person can be personalized instead of having standard templates. Ad targeting and optimization, we are already seeing how AI is personalizing advertisements that are targeted towards us based on our preferences, our behavior in the past. Social media management can also be mass personalized using artificial intelligence. We are actually doing that for some of the clients who are into e-commerce. Sentiment analytics can be picked up by social media mentions, how people are talking about us, about the product, about the company, about specific issues also in the market. And accordingly, marketing strategies can be adjusted for customer satisfaction. Pricing can also be dynamically adjusted. Like in case of one of our clients, we actually ran a campaign using AI just before Christmas. So artificial intelligence actually picked up pricing data of competition, created packages, and then just a week before Christmas, they launched their campaign. So competition didn't have time to make any changes, and we saw a big surge in sales because of this on-time, real-time pricing, dynamic pricing that they could actually implement. Now we come to the support function. I know we are left with just around 5 minutes, so I'll go through this very fast. When we talk about HR and administration, it all starts with recruiting the right people. Uh, AI can be used in predicting whether a person will join or not, how long will the person stay, how will he perform, and then the entire induction can be taken care of using artificial intelligence. Performance management, artificial intelligence can play a big role in performance management by real-time feedback as against to once in a year kind of appraisals. Training and development can be automated. We actually did that in one of my client organizations where human intervention in training was actually taken away by pre-developed content and automatically developed content. And again, the content was customized and personalized to the employee's specific need. Employee engagement, just like customer retention, we can deploy AI for employee engagement also and employee retention also by using predictive models. Administrative tasks can be automated in a big way. Document management, expense management can be streamlined using artificial intelligence. Payroll and benefits are prone to a lot of errors. Automated payroll processing softwares are already available, and AI can play a big role in improving their performance. Compliance and reporting, like in all other cases, can be automated using artificial intelligence and reduce the risk of errors, reduce the risk of penalties. Workforce planning and analytics can also be done using artificial intelligence. We can actually predict when someone would like to move out or when someone would like to move from one place to another, matching employees with new roles or projects. And finally, the finance management part of artificial intelligence. A lot of time and effort is spent in generating reports in finance, which can be automated by picking up data from across the organization. We talked about sales and marketing data, manufacturing data, sourcing data, logistics data. All of that can be combined together to create real-time financial reports, which can be a huge help to the financial managers or CFOs. Similarly, expenses can be tracked across the organization. These can be flagged in case of inconsistencies, and expense management can be improved based on all this data of financial reporting and expense management. Budgeting can also be improved in a big way using artificial intelligence. We talked about fraud detection and risk management earlier also in the strategic management level. So the same is just repeated here. Accounts payable and receivable can also be impacted in a big way to reduce penalties by paying on time and reduce interest loss by not paying too much in advance. Artificial intelligence can actually help you predict your cash flow trends and optimize your payable and receivable processes. Investment management, as we saw, can be done much better when artificial intelligence is used to identify investment opportunities. Machine learning is applied to it, so that plays a big role in improving the performance of the treasury department of the organization. Tax compliance, we are already seeing in India how your income tax information is pre-filled and you just have to verify and sign. AI has taken it to that level, and it can also be implemented in the company, in an organization, at an organizational level. All of this can help in better financial planning, better analysis of data, and simulate different financial scenarios. So the finance department is well prepared with a proper strategic plan to make informed decisions. AI can actually now conduct automated audit, and then the chartered financial analyst or the CA, chartered accountant, can actually just verify it and sign it off instead of having to do that manually over a period of months. So we have seen how reports are coming out in a matter of days after the end of a quarter instead of months after the end of quarter. So this concludes how AI is impacting various processes in your organization. Now, to summarize in the last 1 minute, AI is a force we should understand that is inevitable. It is driving inevitable transformation in our personal lives as well as professional lives. It is making many jobs redundant, of course, and it is also creating entirely new jobs and business opportunities. So nothing to fear. We have to adapt ourselves to the changing market realities. We have seen how there was a lot of hype around .coms earlier. The same thing is happening with artificial intelligence also. There is a lot of fear whether it will take away jobs. There is also irrational exuberance. So anything with an AI attached to it is getting huge valuations in startups, in listed companies also. So I am afraid that it may also lead to something like a .com bubble, and eventually it will come out to the real value of AI. So what is up to us is to evaluate the impact of artificial intelligence in our personal and professional lives in a more rational level. Don't get carried away by irrational fears as well as irrational exuberance. Adapt to the changing realities and hence prosper. That concludes my presentation. Thanks a lot to everyone for sparing the time to connect to attend this session on a weekday. And here is my contact information just in case someone wants to connect with me later. You're welcome to connect with me on LinkedIn as well.
Hi, Ravindra. That was a very, very what we call interesting and broad kind of a presentation. Thank you for that. Unfortunately, we have already ran out of time.
Thanks,
we are unable to take any question for now. But nonetheless, I think it will be good for the audience to connect with you on LinkedIn and or even direct message you to take on a few more of those questions. Again, Ravindra, thank you so much for your time in helping us to understand this portion of the automation itself. Right. Coming up next, we have what we call the track that is going to what we call the panel discussion. We hope you guys can join us there in the next session as well. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Bye.
Thanks, everyone.